Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show. A lot of fear on the market, a lot of people acting crazy, right? A lot of memes pumping. We have a lot of stuff going on right now that's very, very interesting, to say the least. We're going to break it down. We're going to quell your fears. We're going to talk about it. Fake emotions acting real. We do not need the fear. Fear makes no sense, doesn't do anything for any of us. And so, yeah, we're going to quell those fears, and we're going to do what we do, baby. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for breaking it down with me every single day, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show, baby, right? So, everybody, MATIC devs leaving, that's kind of a big deal. We're going to break that down. We have another project with many devs left before, and we've seen what happened. We're going to compare that idea. MATIC is down on the week, and, you know, is it time to sell some MATIC? Did you panic sell your MATIC? Again, not a financial advisor. Like I say, it should be taken here as financial advice, but we're going to break it down. Shout out to everybody here on the live. What up, Redman? What's up, everybody? Hola! Shout out to all my lovers of life and everybody out here. Shout out to Crypto Cash, CNC Ireland, and the Blue Crew, Stack McChange in the house, never missing a beat in the game. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here. May God bless each and every one of you for riding with me every single day. And honestly, who here is enjoying no-fee trading on MEXC? To me, it's the bee's knees, right? It is the best. No-fee trading here on MEXC really just changes the game. 0 spot maker and taker fees, 0% future maker fee, 0.02% taker fee. Unbelievable. You can't beat this anywhere else. They got an app for Android. They got an app for Apple. They got everything you need, right? Download the MEXC app right there just by hitting the QR code immediately. All right? Appreciate each and every one of you for jumping on in and sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Lifer Show. Today, we're going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to talk about the dollar. We're going to see something brewing in the dollar. Could we get a pullback? Only time will tell. If you want to join the beautiful trading group in which I have, which many people have written thousands and thousands of testimonials, I will pin a link. And we trade KuCoin and MEXC mainly. If you want to jump into either of those exchanges, that's going to be the place to be. That's where you're going to be able to maximize the trading potential. That's where I've been trading. If you have a small amount of money and you're trying to turn it into more, it takes some time, right? But these little coins can boom to the upside. So there's 3 links right there to my trading group, also to MEXC, and also to KuCoin if you want to jump on in and follow me. You got to follow me on the exchanges that I go to. It is what it is. Let's break down CAS. Everybody wanted CAS when it ran up, but I sold around here at 27, 28, and I waited and waited and waited. It FOMO'd up to 4.2, and of course I wanted to FOMO in. Of course my human emotions pushed me to jump, but I didn't do it. I said, no, I'm going to wait. Then it came up again. I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss it again. And I said, no, Sam, the 3-day is pushing to the downside. Trust the bigger time frames, right? Trust the bigger time frames. Let them play out. Pull your Fibonacci and wait for the math to come through. And so we're waiting for this 21-day moving average to touch. We're waiting for this to come to the 618 when it goes to 19. It's already below my sell. I did take a nibble. I'll be honest. I nibbled back in. $2,000 turned into almost, $2,000 in there and then turned into more, right? I basically doubled the $2,000, about 1,800. Sold it all for that 38, right? Put that into some other projects too. Redistribute it, okay? Watch this come back down, and then I nibbled last night for $500 because I'm below my sell now. My sell was 27. I'm being able to accumulate the same amount of cash if I want, or more for the amount of money in which I sold it for. This is accumulation. Accumulation is not easy. It takes time, all right? It takes time. It takes time. Like this took, how long did it take since I sold? March 29th, and we're sitting here on April 25th, 22nd. It took basically an entire month, shy of 3 days for this to play. And now it isn't done yet. It may take 40 days to come down to the 618 fib. It did the same thing here once it pumped up, but the smaller, the quicker it comes back, and it came down to this fib. Look how long this took. 27th of November. By the time we hit the fib, it was about January 7th, right? So that's about a month and a half. I'm just showing you this stuff takes time. Accumulation isn't as quick as everyone. Oh, buy and sell back. It takes a lot of emotion, like pushing your emotions down. You can't FOMO. It's not as easy as people think it is. But watching me do this, I hope it helps you realize that you have to have patience in the game if you want to make some real money in the game. If you really want to buy, if you really love a project, you want to get back in. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor. Let's break down our Bitcoin update for the morning. I usually do a Bitcoin update every single day for the trading group. But on the weekends, I attempt to do it for everybody out here. So we wanted to get to this 200 SMA. I kept talking about it. We got shy of it at the resistance point here, okay? Could have been a good chance. There was a chance we still moved back above the zone. But we're going to break that down for you. We're going to show you what is happening on the smaller time frames. I still believe we will touch this 200 SMA sooner than later, right? But only time will tell. 27,005 holding. Let's take a look. Last night, called out a short in the in the trading group. Short did play out, not all the way, but it got right down here. Bitcoin did short down, but we also said, could we double or triple bottom? Can we hold the zone? We also pointed out a bullish divergence here on the 1 hour time frame, and that said that technically should be a bit of our bottom there. We double bottom there too, and honestly on the 4 hour, this looked also like not the 4 hour, what time frame? 15 minute. There was a double bottom here. See, 1, 2. That's a bit of a double bottom. Said we could get a pump to the upside. Bit of a cup with a handle too. And that's that cup and handle, baby. Sweet baby sauce right there. So the short did play out though. Had you moved your stop loss into profit, we were in the money last night from the short to the downside. All right. Then it made kind of this cup, which is interesting. And that's why they call me Sammy, cup and handy. Look at the straight shots out of the cup and handle. Trading cup and handles will change your life. And how you figure out where it's going, you take the wick. You can even take it to the left wick. I always find the wick to the left. Wick to wick is how they figured it out. And boom, and you went up even a little bit more. We said the bulls had to push above 27,004. We did that. We got above a resistance area. And you can almost look like this is it's a kind of a giant double bottom as well. Another thing I pointed out is this is bullish divergence here. And bullish divergence on the 1 hour suggests that is going to be your bottom, right? And I talked about that last night. I said maybe we come down, but that divergence is strong right there. Suggests that is our bottom. However, the RSI is coming back up. 15-minute pointing to the upside. Nice pump back up for Bitcoin. And you can see, whenever the moving averages get super tight, and we broke above this line. Really nice. This is weird music. No eat, no pay, and then we'll get back in. So we're going to pump up to the 200 SMA. Likely, there's a gap in the VRVP here. Could send us right back up into this 28,000 region. We're going to look at the macro and the micro and break it down for you. I did not catch this cup and handle. I'll be honest. I was picking up my live stream, hanging out with my family, getting things ready, and, just going over the charts, getting ready for this live stream. So, you don't hit every single thing, but that short did play out nicely to the downside, and we're sitting pretty right now for Bitcoin in the cup and handle to the upside. Shout out to anyone that may or may not have taken this call or this move. Not my call, but you made this call for yourself. I don't want to misspeak. And pump to the upside. Now, when you get the tight moving averages, you're likely to pump up to the 200 SMA. On low liquidity today, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin went all the way up to the zone, even went past it to 28,000. There was a smooth move down, usually gives you a move back to the upside. Another thing we want to talk about, it looks like a Bart Simpson. It's a reverse Bart Simpson. Reverse, we could get that reverse move back to the upside. 1 hour already got the pump, though, and is getting overbought again. So we were here. We got a mini pump. You have to remember, we're still a little overbought on the idea. We're going to delete everything here and start with some new, fresh work. Remember, we called this short. We called this short. We even called that short to the downside. We nailed it. That was my target yesterday at 27,513. We absolutely nailed it. Shout out to anyone in the trading group. All three shorts in a row every single day. Even called the bearish retest right there. The exact entry of the bearish retest. So, and I'd like to show you what you would get in the trading group if you had paid $3 a bean for the day, right? We went over the live stream. Told you the 1 hour's Bear City on the live stream. Said I didn't like it. There was my measured move, right? Next thing you know, Bitcoin was creeping. I said the short's still playing out. We're about to hit the target. And then within an hour later, bang, we hit the target on the short to the downside. Nailed it. I went on the live stream yesterday. Said I'm more short than long based on us not able to get above the previous zones. Okay? And you got to learn how to bail too. If something's not looking well, you got to learn how to bail. Let's take a look at, I bailed out of CFX. Let's see if it was a bad or a good idea here. I may go back in for allocation. Lost about $170, which wasn't bad. It was a kind of a hole. But yeah, I saw this Adam and Eve double top here, which didn't give me a lot of confidence that this would continue. Look at that. See, you got the Adam, you got the Eve, you got these rounded tops and bottoms here. And honestly, it didn't look good. And it started to make a move to the downside. 15-minute also kind of bear flagging here a little bit. You do have a strong divergence now, which could tell you that could be the move. We'll take a look at that on a bigger time frame and we'll break down the sauce. All right, we're going to get into Bitcoin right now for you like we do every single day. We're going to delete all my old work. I'm going to show you how you would tackle an asset from the very, very beginning. First thing you want to look at is like a big chart, like the weekly. Let's take a look at the weekly for Bitcoin and break it down. So look, heavy bullish divergence on the weekly tells me that is likely our bottom. Even if we trade somewhere, I just don't see us going back to this bottom area. Again, we could, but I've pointed this out many, many times how you don't get weekly divergence You know, I've gone through the entire Bitcoin history and showed you there's been like 3 or 4 times that you got weekly divergence in Bitcoin's life cycle that was this significant and this strong. What is bullish divergence? It's swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down. So I'm a traditional guy when it comes to divergence. I keep it real with the divergence. And if I see divergence, it tells me there's a huge sign. I was able to call the top for Bitcoin here. Swing up to swing up because the RSI here was swinging to the downside. And this was also bearish divvy. Bearish divvy would force us to the downside. I was able to call a top on the bearish divergence and away for the 21-day moving average. I always talked about how to accumulate Bitcoin, right? And I teach students this all the time. I show them how to use the charts to change their lives. It's a bigger of an idea. Everyone wants to make the quick money, but the big money is in the big money, like the long-term holding money. That's where the money really relies. And look, when you look at this all-time history index and you look at Bitcoin, all right, when the moving averages get super tight on the weekly time frame and get close together, it's telling me it's time to accumulate. When they start pulling apart and getting far apart, it's time to start scaling out of the trade. Simple ideas for simple people, right? We don't have to be rocket scientists here. So what is happening now? Well, you can see the 21 crossing the 50. Anytime a smaller time frame, a short time frame moving average crosses a bigger one, like the 21 crossing the 50, it's a very good sign. We can get tight consolidation. Eventually, we're going to consolidate tight here. Even if we come back down and we do something like this, we will consolidate. And these are the days, in my humble opinion, to be accumulating Bitcoin as humanly possible. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what I'm doing. I'm accumulating coins too. I'm getting ready. I keep adding a few different coins here and there. People want to know what I'm adding. You got to be in the trading group if you really want to see exactly what I'm doing. Shout out to everybody here on the live, though. I appreciate you for sharing your most precious asset, and that is your time. Crypto lifers, baby, all day long. Shout out to the 417 people, 111 likes, 670 views, and $2 in chat revenue. May God bless you all for being here, all right? So Bitcoin on the weekly, and then we're going to take a look at that fear and greed index, which has come back into that neutral zone. Each day we analyze the emotions, see that? And sentiments from different sources and crunch them into one simple number. The fear and greed index for Bitcoin and other large cryptocurrencies, 53 in the neutral zone. We were getting into heavy greed last week at 68. You know, whenever it's in heavy greed, it is a good time to take some profits. Whenever you're in heavy fear, it's a good time to get back in. That's what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just explaining how I view this. When it got into the shaded area, 16K, 17K, 19K, these were the days. You may never get those prices again. These were the days. You know, dumb money is, you know, I shouldn't call it dumb money, but people that are the newbies in the market, they're selling off. They're getting freaked out. They're taking their profits of Bitcoin. And what's going to happen is when it's time to get back in, they're not going to really, when you're using your emotions, you're not going to know what to do. It's going to be hard for you to jump back in. It's going to be tough. And we're going to have a bit of an issue here. I got this bigger zone here on the weekly to look at. You know, so we have 30,800 is our resistance zone, really. Maybe a little lower, right? 30,005 to 30,008. We can come back for a nice, you know, support zone here at 25,141. All right. And we can even see we have 21,462 is our next level, 18,977 or 19K. And then could we go all the way back to the bottom at 15,000? A little higher, really, because those were the wicks. But here's the idea. You know, these are the 4 levels to look at for Bitcoin. All right. We already punched through this liquidity zone. It's a lot of liquidity down here that could keep us propped to the upside as well. Did we breach the old trend line that I was talking about? Well, we have to kind of make this chintzy up to the line. Bring that down. You could say, yeah, right now we're kind of playing with it. You could say, like, yeah, in my mind, we did breach this diagonal trend line, which I was saying, hey, once we breach it, look for the bearish retest to the downside here. All right. So when we look at this, we go to the 1 hour time frame. Sorry about that music. I wasn't a fan of it either. Don't worry, we'll make it through. So we breached the trend line. And, you know, I kept saying a bearish retest of the trend line could send us lower. Also, I love opening up a short whenever we break the 200 SMA on the 4 hour time frame with a stop loss on the other side of the 200 SMA. It has played out many times. I've pointed it out to many people. There, you would have opened up a short in the money. All right. There, you would open up a short. Still would have been in the money. Not too bad. There, you would open a short. Big money. There, you would open a short. Big money. There, you would have opened up a short. Big money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The only time there was like a tiny little one. But if you keep your stop loss right above there, you either stop loss for close to nothing, break even. But there was another one, and there was another short to the downside. We have to recover back above this 200 SMA in the next week or week and a half to 2 weeks in order for Bitcoin to remain bullish. If we can't get back above this yellow line, we're going to continue to the downside, I'm telling you right now. And the next phase would be breaking the 200 SMA on the daily. However, we're so far away from the 200 SMA on the daily after that massive bounce, suggests that we may not do such a thing, but only time can tell. Let's get back to my brand new chart. I can't wait to show you what my mind just created. I just saw something in my mind that I haven't seen anyone draw yet. And this is why I have epiphanies with each and every one of you. And I just play with the brain, and the brain shows me what's happening in the markets. And it's actually pretty fun. So again, weekly's back above the 200 SMA here too. That's a bullish sign. Whenever you get back above the 200 SMA on the weekly, it's likely you get a massive move to the upside. I'll look at the all-time history index and show you this. So you got to look at the macro ideas while everyone's freaking out on the small pockets of time frame. You got to be able to, I'm able to trade the 1 minute, 7 minute, 15, but I'm also looking at the bigger time frames all the time, looking at the macro, understanding where I am so I don't get too emotional over the smaller ideas. So look, back in the day, we had a bit of a dip here on the daily, right? Actually, go to the weekly. The weekly here. And once the weekly got back above the 200 SMA, we were gone. Usually you don't break it on the weekly. Usually you just kind of tap it, right? So once we went below, you knew that was a serious buy zone. But we're back above the 200 SMA on the weekly. It's just an interesting sign, something to think about, right? Trend line is not holding up so far. We broke the trend line on the daily time frame. A lot of people know how substantial this is. Could it be a bear trap? Making people think we're going down, but they're going to rip us back to the upside and keep us inside this channel. This high probability. Also, look, shoulder, head. Could be like a complex inverted head and shoulder in a way that shows, a couple double right shoulders here. I have to say no because we pumped up and that would be awkward. So I'm going to pull that away. We did have it. We were on our way. We got rejected by resistance. And so far, we're kind of losing the zone. I have to be honest. I'm not going to, I don't stick to things. And if you were watching my channel, I kept saying, if we lose this trend line, we're likely to fall down to 25,000. So do we go to 25K? That's what everybody wants to know. That's the $1 million question. Do we short to 25K? Well, the 21 and the 200 are pretty far apart on the daily, which tells you we are somewhat struggling to the downside too as well. All right. We're going to go back to my chart and we're going to break it down for you. We're going to remove the moving averages for a second because they're kind of all over the place. We showed you the weekly bullish divergence. We showed you that the weekly is above the 200 SMA. We looked at the macro signs that Bitcoin's somewhat healthy. We go below this on the weekly. I'll flip again back to bearishness. It's so, it means a lot to me whatever we're doing with the 200 SMA. I take it very, very big. Leverage shakeout, the bear trap. I like it, but beware. The last week of April, options and futures expiry, monthly financial report, and the false move Monday. Wow. We have a lot coming at us tomorrow. Shout out to PMG, George, Lifer Batterson. Thank you. God bless you, PMG George. Shouldn't supposed to get to 1 million in June? I didn't adhere to that nonsense. You know what I mean? It's possible. Anything is possible. I'm open-minded, but highly unlikely. Let's break it down. So we're going to remove the moving averages. We know our levels to watch, right? We already done that. So what we're going to do now is just break down if there's anything new we see here on the daily time frame. So we see the weekly is pointing down too, though. Weekly does want to dump on you. And what if the week, here's the most bearish scenario, just so you're ready. Rising wedges break down 68% of the time, and they break down to where they began. And you can see Bitcoin jump all the way back to this point of control, somewhere at 19,800. All right. Again, we'd have to bust through that 25,000 area, but that's your most bearish scenario. And it has like a 78%, 68% chance, so almost a 70% chance because this rising wedge breaks to the downside 68% of the time. So you're in a bearish pattern. All right. It is what it is. And, you got oversold Stokes. You got some bearish divergence on the bigger time frames. And even here, look, this is called hidden bullish. This swings up, but this doesn't. This swings down. That's a hidden bullish divergence. Actually, no, yeah, right here. Actually, it's not. I got to say it's not a hidden bullish because I'm not matching my frames up. I'm a little, I guess I was up till 2 in the morning last night doing my live stream. I could barely talk. Remember the CME gap at 20K. We'll look at CMEs too. Let's do that right before I do my other thing. I appreciate you saying that. So we're going to look at the CME gap for Bitcoin. Right here, Bitcoin futures CME. Let's take a look at all the gaps that we see happening. And look, even here, I'm telling you, there's a chance we break to the downside, and there you have it. So what are CME gaps? So they're gaps in basically in price action. All right, when they're trading this the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So that's what CME stands for, in case you didn't know. So look, here was a gap in the VR in the CME here, and we filled it nicely. All right, that's called a gap. All right, they like to fill the gap. Here was another gap. We came up and we filled this gap. We came down. There was a gap there. We filled that gap nicely too. Smooth move, right, for the gap fill. Now, where is the next gap? There's a gap. Someone said there's a gap at 20. Yeah, so there's a gap right here now. See it? That got created, and we haven't filled that one. And that's sitting at about 20,500. So it's almost likely we hit that gap, and then we boom. You know what I mean? We did it last time at 19K. We had this 19K gap. We were doing so well. Came right down to fill it, and we were gone. So rising wedges, filling the gap. A lot of that makes sense to me. Does that mean you go and open up a short immediately? I would take it one day at a time and trade this in increments. Buy the dip and make up the losses. The market doesn't go up day after day. I don't know why people freak out with this stuff. Amen, golden God. Bitcoin slipping into the future. Time keeps on ripping. Bitcoin ripping into the future. Smart man. Sam is the man. Jebitron. You know you never miss, baby. Shout out to our man, baby. Every single time. I guess I'm a workaholic. Am I a workaholic? My wife just said yes. So here, coming to the downside here, Steve Miller rocks. Oh, and it's so amazing. My first girlfriend that I ever had, she made me a mix of Steve Miller band. It changed my life. Should I short XRP now? I will never tell you what to do. We just filled the gap right there. It's hard to see, but look where the top box is touching. There was a gap right there. We didn't fill it yet, my man. We didn't fill it yet. You could say we filled it already with this one. That's when we give. And look, we had a gap right there that we just filled. Yeah, this gap was already filled, bro, by this area, right? You can see the gap right there, and we filled it. So I would have to say nil. But you were close. You were close. You were close. Okay, so 3 days of pain for Bitcoin. Does it continue to the downside? Does the sell-off continue? It very well may. Oversold on the 22 hour, right? But the RSI still has room to go down. All right. Let's take a look at our 4 hour time frame. Our 4 hour time frame is absolutely flatline, but I've seen it stay flat for like even more days. It just continue to dump. I've seen this happen. You really need a bullish divergence, something to get the bounce back to the upside, and I just don't see it at the present moment in time. All right. Look, here was a shoulder, a head, and kind of a right shoulder too, even though it was messy. I did 125x long at 31K. Pat Murphy deleted it when I wrote it. Sam, when is XM radio going to drop? I don't know. I have no idea what you're saying. Collapsing. You are clearly new. You're funny. You don't work if you do what you love. You don't work. You're a loveaholic. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, my man. And a nasty gap below the VRVP. I mean, look at this gap here. It's likely we head down to 25K. It's just very likely we broke the point of control. Just very likely that the short continues to the downside here based on the VRVP. Once you lose a big POC, you go to the next high volume node. All right. It just is what it is. So, and remember, there's a gap right here that needs to be filled. It's likely we fill this gap, in my humble opinion, because we've been filling them. Again, not every single gap gets filled. You don't have to say it's guaranteed to happen, but lately they've been hitting the gaps up. So I'm more bearish than bullish at the present moment in time based on what I'm looking at, based on the rising wedge breaking down, just based on the sauce. The only thing that we could be holding us down is, are we in some type of broadening wedge like this, and could we bounce to the downside, to the upside? But what I do there is I have to kind of omit this area, and so we're either going to bear trap and get us back in here, go up and down, and then this could kind of continue, or we're going to bearishly retest this area for the move down to the downside to 25, bearishly retest 25. Now, the more safer play is to just sit on your hands, do nothing, wait for 25 to get bearishly retested, make this trade. That's a good time. And trade down to 25. You don't have to take the whole trade down all the way. Increments is the best way, in my humble opinion, when trading simple parts of Bitcoin. Now, I'm a Bitcoin guy. I love Bitcoin. I continue to get and grab and add Bitcoin to my stash. It's what I do. All right? It's what I do. So there's the CME future gap right there. And now let's go just into my technical analysis for the day. So here's the deal. What is happening? Where are we going? Well, we know we got 25K. We don't even have to think about anything else. I like to break it down into small bite-sized pieces. So like right now, we know we have 25,000. We know that right off the bat. 25K. All right. Yeah, more than likely, we're going to go up and down into the 24,000, 28,000 range for the next month or two. And that'll be good for altcoin accumulation. And we're still going to find altcoins that love to pop. Don't guess what we do, everybody. Last night in the trading group, Pepe went up for a nice quick little gain. Also, some other coins have been pumping too as well. Who here likes Pepe? Are you into Pepe? Do you like Pepe coin? Do you like Pepe? Ask the community. We're going to add a poll here. Do you like Pepe? Let me know. I want to see how many of you people think it's a meme, out of control thing, or how many people are like, you know what? It's cool. It's cool. What is re? I never knew what that was. I go, wee. You got me going, wee. I think we're going down to 25 and then start the bull market after the Fed comes out with a pause on interest rates. They're going to have to print because they're going to raise the debt ceiling and they're going to have to print. They're going to have to do it. 25 is also very substantial. We break that, we're likely going down to 19,000. So we don't have to really think about anything but 25K. We get to there, then we can kind of, and that's why everyone says, we're going here, we're going there. And I always say, but I do Bitcoin every 5 to 6 hours. Like I was up till 2 in the morning doing Bitcoin. Who caught the insane night stream I did last night? Impromptu night stream. It was pretty cool. And I was gearing up for Austin, Texas, just doing what my travel setup would look like, getting ready for a move. Gensler is ripping. It's funny. I just found, it's funny. That's a coin I didn't even really know about. That caught me off guard. Good Gensler, right? On Arbitrum, USDC. I don't even know. I believe it's on Arbitrum. Arbitrum's just been doing, yeah, look at that, 2,300%. That's insanity, right? And you get the contract address. Go to Dex Screener. Way better than Dex Tools. I'm telling you, if you don't know Dex Screener, you're slipping. I used to use Dex Tools till I got to Dex Screener. Wow, that thing is absolutely plowing forward. Amazing. Look at that. Up 11,000%. You can't. I mean, that's complete insanity, right? Look at it on a smaller time frame to see what's going on here. Wow, the consolidation is actually not too bad. Like the way it's moving up and down isn't too bad. Also, what I see is something like this. Bit of an ascending triangle that could definitely continue to the upside. Gensler, so insane. You know what I mean? So insane. Let's look at the markets here on MEXC. I just want to see what the different markets are doing. SVT, Solvent, still booking. Rug, 77. 77 from MX Zen. What's MX Zen, Zen Crypto? See, I'm confused between what is Zen and MX Zen. You know what I mean? There's also another coin called Zen, isn't there? Zen USDT. And then you got Zen Crypto, which is MX Zen. I'm confused as to which one. I want to make sure I got the right one. Even I sometimes need to double check on this, right? So this is at 78497. You go here and you type in Zen. And I copied this address too. We looked at it already. Z-E-N. Zen Crypto. 7874. Yeah, 78497. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe I got the right one, but that's just like confusing. That is confusing. I'll be honest. You know what I mean? And then you have MX Zen, which I'm like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? That thing is ripping too. Insane. Wow. MEXC is just out of control lately. There's so much action going on. You guys in your 1 minute time frame skills, lifer friend. How about Cat? Zen on multiple chains. What token are you looking at? Hard to argue with 10,000 to the upside. I mean, that's insane, right? Gensler just doing damage like that? Like, that's insanity. Insanity, right? And you know about it on the lows? And this thing could still move another, but now it's kind of over now. Like, the $1 million meme coin game, you got to get in so early before most people know about it. Still could go up 100%, right? But again, this is high-risk stuff. Just be very, very careful. I got like the dollar cost average into BTC, build the bag. I always say you got to earn your right. The pair has been created with the last 24 hours. Make sure you fully understand the risk associated with the trading pair. This thing is brand new, dude. It's brand new. It's like a day old. Like, insanity. It's not even, it's less than a day old. And again, you're going to find out on this channel that we get to the coins. Sometimes we might be a day late, but a lot of times we'll catch them right when they're pretty early too. So just remember, this is the channel where you're going to find out about almost every single thing, the news, the coins, all the different things that are happening in the market and Bitcoin. So let me finish off with my Bitcoin idea here. So 25K, we only need to worry about that. We get to there, we reassess the situation. We don't have to say 16K, 19K. We don't have to, you know what I mean? Once we get here, we can reassess. And I just hope everyone understands that. When you go over Bitcoin every 5 to 7 hours, you don't have to worry about the bigger time frames. And, you know, you look at them, you look at the macro ideas, but the smaller time frames are going to confirm what we know to be true, all right? So, do we follow to 25,000 is the question. It's likely. I mean, that's a bearish engulfing candle in the weekly. The weekly wants to come on down, all right? I do feel that there's no way we'll go lower than this level because of the bullish divergence. The bullish divergence tells you that is your bottom, even if you get really close, like to here, which we may even touch this 28,900. And that CME gap, I believe, there's a high chance that CME gap does get filled here at that 20,800 level. So just, we went over that too. You have that in your back pocket now. So we know our two levels that we need to watch that are going to come for us at one point. You can there's an SR flip right there at 21.9. But if you're not in the group with us, you're missing out on real-time information. No one works like Sammy. I can say for certain after being away from the live and away from Sammy's pocket for a week, I missed out on alpha information and sauce. The obsessive nature of my work ethic is impenetrable. All right. So let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame, the daily. So we go to the daily, right? It does want to move, but just everyone says, oh, you can pump here. But look, look, we just entered the daily right here, and look what happened. We had a massive downturn. So I just want to show you something. Everyone's like, yeah, but you long. You have to understand that these are where monumental moves can happen. Once you get up here, a big move can pump. These are high velocity areas when you get below and above the dotted lines. You want to see it get extended with some divergence, and then you know you're done. That's why divergence is so key. It really gives you the key and the insight to it all. So one thing I want to grab is a fractal for you real quick here. And I want to just show you. Right here, we had just got to the dotted line, and we were kind of curving. You could say we were like somewhere right here. And when I put this up on a fractal, I mean, look, further to the downside here, right? So just something to think about. Just because you're down here does not mean that more pain can't come. All right? I just want to make that clear. And see that idea? Look how much more we came on the daily. So just be ready for this type of information and know that everything is a probability. All right, a little bit of a short squeeze happening on the live here on Bookmap. Bookmap link in the description below to Bookmap if you want to get down. And this will show you where the liquidity lies. Right now we're seeing pretty flat liquidity. And it's Saturday. Saturday is pretty dry, right? It's pretty dry. 1 minute time frame is in a bit of a flag there. You can see this is like the 1 second chart, really. It's so fast and updating. Arca, baby, Arca. So look. Now we're going to, and now you can say, okay, we have a support right here that we hit too. Right? There's a support right there. Bounce, bounce, bounce. We're bouncing. Okay? And there is a chance you're making this broadening wedge, even though it's not the best. And we could bounce back to the upside. I'm just giving you a possibility. And we could bounce back up here. There's a chance. All right? I haven't seen anyone draw this yet. And, only thing I don't like is you can kind of miss this idea. It's more like this. And can you bounce back in off the bear trap? That's how I look at it. So if we came back here, that would be a beautiful short back to the downside. And that would probably be a key short. They'll probably pump us back up, pull the liquidity back into 28,006, make everyone think it's all good again. And then boom. Also, look, that would be a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder to the downside. So we'll be watching this for you. I already have it locked in my mind, and I have a photographic memory. So at the right time, I'll pull it back out, and I'll know exactly what to do. So don't worry. I got you. I go over this all day, every day. I'm updating it all the time. And no matter what, you're going to be privy to the information. If you're in the trading group, you're not going to miss, baby. You're not going to miss. You're going to be fine. All right. I see a pump lever. XEN, XDN, bring it back to the first principles of crypto. Inevitable. Interesting. You won't regret it, Ken. It's your favorite group's favorite group. Yeah. We're in an accumulation zone. We are not in a bear/bull market. If you get into the mindset, you won't cry every time Bitcoin drops. When we pass 69K, you can tell me we're in our bull market. I mean, I disagree with you in a way because once you get above the 200 SMA on the daily time frame, that is a substantial thing. You can go through all the back end on Bitcoin and see once you got above the 200 SMA, we were gone. You could get a bear market rally, right? And then sideways, but I believe this was a black swan event. We should have just went somewhat sideways after creating a new low, a new high, a new low after for that low. So I'm a moving average guy. I'm not an opinionated guy. I'm like 70% with you, Golden God, but not, as long as we stay above the 200 SMA, I'm a if then or but guy. I'm a black and white kind of guy when it comes to trading. It's really helped me in my life. You know what I mean? Also, look, this is a backwards descending triangle. If we could flip the chart the other way, reverse it, that's a backwards descender, right? And descending triangles drop to the down. Isn't that interesting? Like if you were to look at this way, because it's Alice through the looking glass. Look, if you were to flip your mind the other way and look at that, look, and the descending triangle into the downside. Isn't that interesting? Pretty interesting. So we could find a descending triangle. Where did it come from? Yeah, that'll bug you out. I'll stay off of that, but that's bugged out. All right. So I'm going to attest to this idea. We're in this broadening rising wedge, broadening rising wedge, and we lost this level. Do we break us back in for the bearish retest here? And so I'd be looking for a beautiful short. If we can come right to here, and again, that's going to be the right shoulder. That's something we want to be preemptive of and pay attention to. Let's keep moving, and I show you the daily still has room to go. And just because they're low here on the 22, that could be our bounce back up too as well. At the end of the day, traditionally, this is a falling wedge. Falling wedges break up 68% of the time. It is what it is, right? So that's a falling wedge, and the falling wedge could break up the length of the base back to the upside, and you could get yourself back inside here just traditionally, okay? No real bullish divergence, though. Nothing really to write home about, in my humble opinion. I guess you could try to swing up here, swing down here and say, okay, it's kind of a hidden bullish there. I'm open-minded to that because you didn't have anything come down into the middle, so that is swing low to swing low. It's interesting. All right. I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. You can use that information however you feel fit. All right. So if this does pump up, look for the bearish retest. If it gets back in, we could pump right back up to this level here and maybe even hit the top of the channel. That would take us to about 31,674. I'm more bearish than bullish, but we are getting tight moving averages, and the 200 is not that far away from price action, which tells me we don't have a lot to dump. If we did dump, we're likely to dump to the 200 SMA, which is off the $25,000 region. Now we're going to go to the smaller time frames and see what it's showing me. The 333 time frame wants to blast. Look at that. So if we trade just the 3333s, it says we're about to get a big move to the upside. Isn't that interesting? So, right now, this falling wedge wants to break to the upside. It says it's going to. All right? So we got to heed that and let it play out the way it's supposed to. So, and look at that's a 3333 time frame. Very interesting, right? 1 hour's cooked. And we know we like trading the 1 hour. Let's break this down. So look, here's previous support, bounce on these wicks, a bounce. So you can see this area is pretty substantial. We kind of had chop. We bounced on a wick. We bounced there. We came through on a wick, came back up. And now we have heavy resistance. So we got to get back above this zone on the 1 hour time frame. It's looking pretty messy. What is this? This is like a wedge here too. This is a broadening rising wedge. All right. Usually this will come down, and what we'll do is it'll tap halfway through the neckline and get a move back to the upside. Interesting. Also, what to say? I remember seeing a bullish divergence on the 1 hour. I mean, it's technically a Class C bullish divergence. That is such a sharp dump, and that's not half as sharp as a dump. I am getting mixed signals, everybody, as you can clearly see. Not perfect, right? This is not easy to find exactly what's happening. Bullish engulfing candle the 1 hour, though. We got that nice move back to the upside, but really just could be liquidations. 15-minute also wanted to roll over on us. So here's the deal. If you want to know what's going to happen today, and when I come back later on tonight, we got bunched up moving averages. We couldn't get up to the 200 SMA. So we're going to watch this 15-minute and put it in a flag. This is my trading style. This is how I'm able to figure it out, because you don't know. And if you don't know, this is it. So here's the deal. The 200 keeps going. This looks pretty likely, okay? So we're going to watch this flag on the 15-minute. It takes 4 to 5 hours. 21 will touch price action. That could be a beautiful long when this resets. So,
Do you have your phone?
No, yeah, somewhere around. I don't know. So we're waiting for this to go sideways and 21 price action to touch. As long as we can SR flip the area of 27,389, it's nice. So if you want to know where Bitcoin's going to go, you're going to be watching the 15-minute. When this flag touches the 21, that could be a nice long to the upside on a Saturday. Just be careful trading Saturdays with low liquidity. But this is what I see happening for Bitcoin. So what do I see when I come back tonight at 8 p.m. and we do our nighttime show? What do I see happening for Bitcoin? Well, 2 hours, 3 hours. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin was kind of pumping out of this or just going somewhat sideways. So let's put out my box where I believe Bitcoin's going to be. I believe Bitcoin's going to be somewhere around here when I come tonight. I believe there's a high likelihood we can get a breakout here based on what I'm seeing. All right, because we got above this resistance. We definitely double bottomed here. You can't say we didn't. It's like, you know, every time you go to Bitcoin, it's basically like a murder scene, you know, not to be morbid, but, you know, we're the detective and we're trying to find out, or we could say who stole the cookie jar to make it a little funner for the kids watching, but you know what I mean? And there's your double bottom. Measured move is the neckline to the head, and that also puts me to the box area and gets me to the 200 SMA. So it's likely we come to this 200 SMA. Whenever the 21 and the 200 are that far apart, we're likely to touch it. It is a bit of a double bottom on the point of control here in the local area. So we're going to watch this flag. If you don't understand my system, it's okay. But if you're a lifer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to jump on out. We're going to reclaim that 28,000. In a bull market, you can buy and it goes one way, up. I view anything below 69 a long-term hold. I am not about taking trades. That's a daily thing. Anybody can make money in the bull. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, you can just throw money at a dart and just boom. I get it. But I mean, we've had some major gains. You know, it may not be a bull market, but look, Caspa, right? Since it came out and started coming and pumping here back in September, I mean, it's up massively, right? So that was in a bit of a bull run, right? Zen token, which has been hot, all right? Zen crypto on MEXC or Gate.io. This was down here, and this thing went massively to the upside. So, like, that's up massively since March 23rd. I mean, that's like, it's up 10x, right? You could talk about, we can talk about AGIX, okay? And AGIX, right? Or we'll look at it on KuCoin. KuCoin had it first. Isn't that interesting? Doing a little dolphin dip there too. But look, when this one was down here, it went from 0.04 cents all the way up to 68. I mean, that was like a 14x or something insane. All right. Then we can talk about injective protocol. All right. On KuCoin here. And that was down here at like $1 and it went all the way up to $9. That's a 10x. I didn't see stuff like this in the other bull markets I was in. I mean, bear markets. I just didn't. This is a different, there's just too much opportunity and too many people and too many new products coming out, right? And we hit a lot of these. DMTR. Like, I could go over all this for days. We should cut this up, group, and put this in a thing just to show, like, this bull market, this bear market is different. This thing is up too massively. And had you been in my trading group, you would have known about DMTR down here at the bottom. You would have known about injective at $1. This thing's up 3,000%. So I'm just pointing out that this rally has been a lot different than the past few rallies. Very, very interesting, to say the least. DMTR is another long-term hold that I'm waiting to come back down to the 618, possibly on the 3-day chart. Doing the same idea that I did with Caspa. Getting a little overbought here on the 3-day. It's time for a bit of a correction after that massive rally to the upside. And all you had to do is really play this bullish consolidation on the 3-day chart, and it gave a massive pump to the upside. I teach my students this. I teach them the 618. I teach them support and resistance. We teach them candles, candle bodies, bearish engulfing, bullish engulfing, support and resistance. And honestly, you will learn so much if you join the trading group. You'll understand liquidity and bookmap. You're going to be introduced to so many different concepts and new things that you never thought possible. Jump on in today. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you are already doing the right thing. I love you all. Have a great day. God bless. And I'll see you in the trading group.